But Scots faced missing out on one of his biggest tax giveaways, raising the threshold for paying the higher 40p rate of income tax from £46,350 to £50,000 from next April. It means the tax gap between Scotland and the rest of the UK is likely grow further, for some by more than £1,000. SNP Finance Secretary Derek Mackay overhauled income tax rates and bans last year as part of deal with the Greens to get his own budget through. As a result, around 1 million workers earning more than £26,000 pay more income tax than those on the same salaries in England. The changes created a gulf in income tax rates for the first time since the Act of Union. Experts warned Mr. Mackay was unlikely to follow Mr. Hammond's lead for middle-class Scots when he unveils his own fiscal plans on December 12, Finance Secretary Derek Mackay delivering his draft budget for 2018-19. Image, John Linton, Press Association. Scottish Tory Deputy Leader Jackson Carlo said, with tax cuts south of the border, the case for yet more SNP tax rises is simply unsustainable. Nicola Sturgeon must rule it out. Now, Mr. Hammond yesterday declared austerity is coming to an end, as he unveiled a £959.7 million public service spending spree for the Scottish Government over 3 years. And he promised that even better times are ahead from a double-deal dividend if Theresa May secures a trade agreement with the EU, but Mr. Mackay lashed out, insisting Mr. Hammond had short-changed Scotland and the economy would continue to be hit by austerity measures and Brexit. Scottish Tory Deputy Leader Jackson Carlo. Image, PA. He argued the country's resource block grant remained almost £2 billion lower in real terms in 2019-20 than in 2010-11. But the UK government said the grant would increase in real terms over its spending review period between 2015 and 2020 to over £32 billion. Mr. Hammond said, "My budget sends a clear message to the people of Scotland, your hard work is paying off. Thanks to the UK government's careful stewardship of the economy, the public finances are in a much stronger position and national debt is falling." He also insisted his financial measures would help the strivers, the grafters and the carers who are the backbone of our communities and our economy. A £400 million a year raid on the profits of internet giants including Google, Facebook, Twitter and eBay was also announced by the Chancellor. Yesterday's budget announced that UK government spending on the public services will rise by around 1.2% above inflation every year for the next 5 years. The extra cash for Scotland comes as a result of spending south of the border on devolved areas, particularly the NHS, through so-called Barnett consequentials. This means an extra £20.5 billion a year in real terms by 2023-24, far better than expected economic growth, detailed in budget documents from the Office for Budget Responsibility watchdog yesterday, provided the financial leeway for the extra spending, the Chancellor said. As well as extra cash for the NHS, the Chancellor unveiled £1 billion more for defence, £400 million for schools, £160 million for counter-terrorism, police and billions more for roads. He also found £1.7 billion for increasing benefits handed out under the new Universal Credit Welfare System. Mr. Hammond promised an extra £500 million for Whitehall preparations for a no-deal exit from the EU. First Minister Nicola Sturgeon. Image, Jane Barlow, PA. He insisted the country could cope from such a scenario while pointing out that achieving a deal would further boost the economy. Announcing the £959.7 million in consequentials, the Chancellor added, "Obviously much larger sums to come as we move ahead over the spending review period with our NHS funding change." Scottish Secretary David Mindell said, "I urge the Scottish Government to use this extra money to support the NHS in Scotland, fix the roads, boost Scotland's economy and reinvigorate Scotland's high streets." Mr. Hammond said he would increase the amount everyone in the UK can earn before they pay income tax from £11,850 now to £12,500 from next April. The tax-free personal allowance is reserved to Westminster, so will benefit everyone across the UK. He also announced a rise in the threshold for the higher rate of income tax, 40p, to earnings above £50,000. In Scotland the higher rate is £41p, and kicks in at £43,431. Anyone earning a £50,000 salary currently pays £824 more in Scotland, and this would rise to £1,560 if Mr Mackay does not change the threshold in line with south of the border. The difference would stand at £1,660 for someone earning £60,000, £1,760 for a salary of £70,000, and £2,060 for anyone on £100,000. Earlier this year, Mr Mackay said more divergence is inevitable, adding he wants a more progressive system. The Chartered Institute of Taxation's Moira Kelly warned that further divergence would increase the attractiveness of people changing their tax arrangements to opt out of Scottish income tax and into UK-wide corporation tax to reduce their liabilities. Mr Mackay said that austerity has not ended, and that is a choice by the UK government.